Sometimes we sit down to practice and we sound like Lionel Curtis reborn. And then other days we sit down to practice and we sound rubbish. So what can we do on those days where practice just isn't happening, something isn't clicking, and it's just a bad practice day? Number one, stop practicing. Put the instrument away. Go do something else. Sometimes it is actually far more productive to just admit that today is not the day, now is not the time, and actually if you just keep plugging away and keep kind of fighting it, you're just probably gonna make things worse. We don't have to practice every hour of every single day. Don't cancel me. Number two is YouTube masterclasses. This is actually something that has been a really embarrassingly recent discovery for me. There are some incredible people putting out videos on YouTube, talking you through various pieces, giving incredible tips, even giving fingering suggestions, all of that kind of stuff, which normally you would have to pay a lot of money in order to get that kind of information. So there's members of the Berlin Phil. I know that the Sydney Symphony Orchestra, I think the leader of that has done several videos, and it's just incredible, the resources there. I almost guarantee you that there is somebody giving you some tips on the piece that you are learning, especially if they are pieces that often come up for auditions and that kind of thing. Tip number three is one of my personal favorites. Just get cozy. Put on a lovely, warm, snuggly jumper. Make yourself a really nice drink of whatever you fancy. Who doesn't love getting all cozy in a big, comfy jumper? This is actually my personal favorite, and I shall probably be wearing it for the rest of the day. For number four, this is an oldie but a very, very goodie, because it's listening to a recording of the piece that you're playing and following along with your music. There is tons of research that this can actually be as beneficial as physically practicing the piece anyway. So if you're having a day where just physically you're not feeling right, you can actually still learn your piece. You don't have to completely write the session off if you don't want to. This is actually a technique that I use a lot. I spend a lot of my life on trains.
What's coming?
A train!
And a lot of the time that is going to work, and I won't always have had time to as thoroughly sit down with the music as I would like to. I just get the music up on my iPad and I look through it and listen to it on the train. It means that I'm productive with that time, which makes me feel better about life, but it also is just a really good thing to do. It's really useful, and this is something which I didn't used to do. Confession time. I used to rely on my sight reading very heavily. I still do, I have to, it's part of my job. But I used to be maybe a little bit too confident with my sight reading, and I wouldn't always look at things beforehand. But since I have started looking at things beforehand, there is no comparison, so do it. Trust me, it does actually make a lot of difference. Who knew? And then number five is to do some yoga and then come back to it. I often find that the number one reason that my playing just isn't feeling right is because I'm actually not warmed up properly. I take a really, really long time to warm up into my playing. I've just learnt this about myself now, and it means that for auditions and everything, I get there really early and try and sneak into a room so that I can warm up, because it just takes me a while. The days where I've done a little bit of yoga beforehand are the days where things just work so much better. It's also just really beneficial for your body. Something that I've started doing is on the days where it isn't my turn to get up with puppy dog over there and walk her in the morning, I will get up and I literally do like a 10-minute yoga class. I will have my favorite ones linked down below. This is something that I am getting increasingly passionate about as I get older. I'm only 30, I'm not old, but I am starting to realise that musicians that I'm really looking up to that are in their 50s and 60s and still really enjoying their playing are the ones that invest in their body and looking after it and taking care of it. They go for massages, they do yoga, they exercise properly, they do all of these things because our job is incredibly physical. And one of the main reasons that I see people struggling and, you know, complaining about like their back hurting and things like that, it's just because they don't physically take care of their bodies. And if your body is not working properly, you can't do your job. That was a very long rant. That was meant to be a quick point. I'm very sorry. If you have any other little tips and tricks that you use to get yourself back in the zone, then please do comment them below. Everyone will find it super, super helpful. If you would like to see what I do when I have maybe not practiced for a little while, then watch this video here and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!